Very good morning to one and all. Welcome to your TSN English class. Today we'll start chapter 4, The Landscape of the Soul, from your book Hornbill Class 11th. Class 11th. Today I'll tell you firstly that what we have read earlier in our first video about the chapter, that this chapter in Landscape of the Soul, the writer contrasts some Chinese painting with Western painting, and here Chinese painter excel in inner and spiritual landscapes, and he compares here. So what was going on here, that Daozi was an 8th century Chinese painter, and he was given the task of painting a landscape to decorate a palace wall, and he painted at a cave in the picture, and said that spirit lived in it, and he clapped his hands and the door of the cave opened. As soon as the painter entered the cave, the entrance closed behind him, and the painting itself disappeared from the wall. And after that, what was there, the painter did not want to, what is there, we'll read in our this paragraph here. So let's read our chapter from here with this paragraph. In 15th century Antwerp, a master blacksmith called Quentin Metze fell in love with a painter's daughter. The father would not accept a son in law in such a profession, so Quentin sneaked into the painter's studio and painted a fly on his latest panel with such delicate realism that the master tried to sweat it away before realized what had happened. Quentin was immediately admitted as an apprentice into his studio. He married his beloved and went on to become one of the most famous painters of his age. These two stories illustrate what each form of art is trying to achieve, a perfect illusionistic likeness in Europe, the essence of inner life and spirit in Asia. In the Chinese story, the emperor commissions a painting and appreciates its outer appearance, but the artist reveals to him the true meaning of this work. The emperor may rule the territory he has conquered, but only the artist knows way within. Let me show the way, the Tao, a word that means both the path or the method, and the mysterious works of the life of the universe. The painting is gone, but the artist has reached his goal beyond any material appearance. So, here what was there here, students, that in Landscape of the Soul, now the writer is talking about the 15th century, that is Natale is talking about 15th century Antwerp. A master blacksmith called Quentin Metze fell in love with a painter's daughter. So how a master blacksmith, कि किस तरह एक जो blacksmith है, that जिसको हम एंटवर्प क्या है, that is a place we call today world, that is Belgium. सो हाउ कि क्वेंटिन के एक मेट्सिस नामक किस तरह एक ब्लैकस्मिथ को एक पेंटर की डॉटर से लव हो जाता है. सो योर एंटवर्प इज लाइक a name of a place that is Belgium in 15th century, and a master blacksmith. So here master blacksmith means a person who is skilled in blacksmith work. And Quentin Metze, what is Quentin Metze? Is a name of a person, that is the blacksmith name, and fell in love with the painter's daughter. So किस तरह एक परफेक्शनिस्ट ब्लैकस्मिथ जिसका नाम है क्विंटन मेट्सिस, उसको किस तरह एक पेंटर की डॉटर से लव हो जाता है. द फादर वुड नॉट एक्सेप्ट अ सन इन लॉ इन सच अ प्रोफेशन. सो ऑब्वियसली जो फादर है वो ऐसा सन इन लॉ बिल्कुल प्रेफर नहीं करता, दैट इज इन दिस काइंड ऑफ प्रोफेशन. द फादर so Quentin sneaked into the painter's studio and painted a fly on his latest panel. So what Quentin यहाँ पे क्या करता है कि Quentin एक दिन चुपचाप से यह कहाँ चला जाता है, स्नीक्ड इनटू पेंटर स्टूडियो, पेंटर के स्टूडियो चला जाता है, जहाँ पर वो कुछ न्यू चीज़ें और कुछ लेटेस्ट पैनल्स को देखता है विथ सच डेलिकेट रियलिज्म, जो कि बहुत ज़्यादा डेलिकेटली बनाया गया होता है, दैट द मास्टर ट्राइड टू sweat it away before he realized what had happened. So वो क्या करता है वहाँ पर, उसके हर वो जो पेंटिंग बनी है उसके हर छोटे या हर बारीक पॉइंट्स पे या वो चीज़ों पर डेलिकेट रियलिज्म, यानी कि उसकी हर स्मॉल डिटेल्स पर वो फोकस करता है. क्विंटन वॉज इमीडिएटली एडमिटेड एज एन अप्रेंटिस इन टू हिज स्टूडियो. सो क्विंटन वहाँ जाता है और ये देखता है कि किस तरह उसने, जो वो था राइटर, उसने किस तरह, राइटर ने क्या किया था कि जो लेटेस्ट उसने डिज़ाइन किया था अपना पेंटिंग, उस पेंटिंग में उसने किस तरह एक फ्लाई को उड़ा दिया था. एंड इससे पहले कि वो जान पाता क्विंटन ने उस स्टूडियो में वो सब कुछ देख के एंट्रेंस लेने की सोची, दैट ओके इतना अच्छा स्टूडियो, यहाँ इतनी अच्छी पेंटिंग सिखाते हैं. सो इमीडिएटली एडमिटेड एज an apprentice into his studio. So he started immediately he started taking admission over there, and he married his beloved and went on to become one of the most famous painter. इस तरह उसने अपने beloved से शादी करी and वो अब के टाइम में एक बहुत फेमस पेंटर बन गया. These two stories illustrate what each फॉर्म ऑफ आर्ट इज़ ट्राइंग टू अचीव. ये दो स्टोरीज़ हैं जो हमें एक एग्जाम्पल हैं, दीज आर द इलस्ट्रेटिव्स ऑफ हाउ टू डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ आर्ट्स आर ऑफ डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ आर्ट्स ऑफ डिफरेंट एज आर there. A perfect illusionistic likeness in Europe. So this is kind of what it is, you can say that illusionistic, किस तरह एक illusionistic कहानियाँ हैं जिससे हमें कुछ समझाया जा रहा है. द एसेंस ऑफ इनर लाइफ एंड स्पिरिट इन एशिया, कि किस तरह इनर लाइफ और स्पिरिट्स जो हैं वो एशिया में फॉलो की जाती हैं. सो दीज टू स्टोरीज, ये जो दोनों कहानियाँ हैं, ये हमें बखूबी एक्सप्लेन करती हैं कि जो इल्यूजन्स हैं वो, और एशिया में जो इंटरनल लाइफ है या जो हमारे सोल है, स्पिरिट इन एशिया, उसको पूरा एक्सप्लेन करते हैं. इन द चाइनीज स्टोरी द एम्परर कमीशंस अ पेंटिंग एंड, इसी तरह इसमें एक चाइनीज स्टोरी है वेयर द एम्परर कमीशंस, जहाँ पे एक एम्परर जो है, कमीशंस हियर मीन्स टू कॉल अपॉन समबडी अ पेंटिंग एंड अप्रिशिएट्स इट्स आउटर अपीयरेंस, और वो उस पेंटिंग की आउटर अपीयरेंस को अप्रिशिएट करता है. But the artist reveals him the true meaning of his work. But how he appreciate that painting is totally different, and how that point of view of artist is totally different here. And the emperor may rule over the territory he has conquered. And किस तरह emperor उसकी territory पे rule करता है और किस तरह conquer करता है, but ओनली द आर्टिस्ट नोज द वे विद इन. सो केवल एक, जैसे एक राजा को पता होता है कि कैसे उसने उस राज्य को जीता है या कॉन्कर करा है, सिमिलरली एक पेंटर को पता होता है दैट व्हाट इज़ द वे और व्हाट इज़ देयर इन हिज पेंटिंग. सो लेट मी शो द वे द डाओ. सो वो कहता है कि मैं आपको रास्ता दिखाता हूँ. एंड हियर डाओ वर्ड मीन्स, जिसका मीनिंग है कि आइए मैं आपको रास्ता दिखाता हूँ. अ वर्ड दैट मीन्स बोथ द पाथ एंड द मेथड. सो बाय दिस वर्ड डाओ यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड द मीनिंग ऑफ पाथ और मेथड एंड द मिस्टीरियस वर्क्स ऑफ यूनिवर्स, एंड यू कैन ऑल्सो गेट द मिस्टीरियस वर्क्स ऑफ यूनिवर्स. द पेंटिंग इज गॉन बट द आर्टिस्ट हैज़ रीच्ड हिज गोल. पेंटिंग नहीं है लेकिन आर्टिस्ट ने अपना गोल जो था वो पा लिया है. बियॉन्ड एनी मटीरियल अपीयरेंस, बिना किसी material appearance. So here, students, the painter did not actually want to give his daughter to marriage to a blacksmith and accept him as a son-in-law, and he immediately made Quentin his apprentice and married his daughter to him. And he married his beloved and became one of the most famous painters of his age here. And the Quentin story reveals that European artist aims at a perfect illusionistic likeness in his art. So let's come on to the next paragraph here. Let's read from here. A classical Chinese landscape is not meant to reproduce an actual view as would a Western figurative painting, whereas the European painter wants you to borrow his eyes and look at the particular landscape exactly as he saw it. From a specific angle, the Chinese painter does not choose a single viewpoint. His landscape is not a real one. You can enter it from any point, then travel in it. The artist creates a path for your eyes to travel up and down, then back again in a leisurely movement. This is even more true in case of horizontal scroll, in which the action of slowly opening in one section of the painting, then rolling it up to move on to the other adds a dimension of time which is unknown in any other form of painting. It also requires the active participation of the viewer, who decides at what pace he will travel through the painting, a participation which is physical as well as mental. The Chinese painter does not want you to borrow his eyes, he wants you to enter his mind. The landscape is an inner one, spiritual and conceptual space. So here in this paragraph, what was going on there? A classical Chinese landscape is not meant to reproduce an actual view. That a European painter wants the viewer look at the landscape exactly as he himself saw it from a specific angle here. And the Chinese painter accepts his viewer to look at his picture from at any angle. The artist creates a path for the viewer eyes to travel up and down and then back again. So there's a difference between two kind of artists. That one is the Chinese and one is the European. That किस तरह जो classical Chinese landscape है उसमें बताया गया है as would a Western figurative painting, whereas the European painter want you to borrow his eyes. यूरोपियन पेंटर आपसे क्या चाहते हैं? वॉन्ट्स व्यूअर एट द लैंडस्केप एग्जैक्टली, वो आपसे वैसे ही देखने को कह रहे हैं. सिमिलरली यू वॉन्ट टू viewer look at the landscape as he himself saw it. And at the same time, Chinese painter does not choose a single viewpoint. And when we compare both of the painters, so Chinese painter want you to look at that picture from different angles, or you can say that picture from any of the angles here. So the artist creates a path for your eyes to travel up and down, then back again in a leisurely movement. And for that you need leisure moments. And this is even more true in case of horizontal scroll, in which the action of slowly opening in one section of the painting. And this can happen in that horizontal scrolling. And then rolling it up to move on the other adds a dimension of time which is unknown in any of the painting. So it also requires the active participation of the viewer. And when we talk about that, when you look at anything from so many angles, so you need active participation in that particular thing. And who decides at what pace he will travel through that painting? And different person have different viewpoints. So a participation which is physical as well as mental. So to view that particular painting, you need both the views, your physical and both the mental one. So a participation. So the Chinese painter does not want you to borrow his eyes. So here the comparison is between the European and the Chinese painter. That European painters does not want your eyes, to borrow your eyes, and your Chinese painter does not want to borrow your eyes, because he wants to get your own point of view, and he wants you to enter his mind. The landscape is an inner one, a spiritual and a conceptual space. So here the ये जो landscape है, this one is there, which is both spiritual and conceptual at the same time. So so that you can find out your own concepts here. So students, move on to next page. The concept is expressed as shan shui, literally mountain water, which used together represent the third word landscape more than two elements of an image. These represent two complementary poles reflecting the Taoist view of the universe. The mountain is yang, reaching vertically towards heaven and resting on the earth, flew towards heaven, stable, warm, dry, and sun, while the water is yin, horizontal and resting on the earth, fluid, moist and cool. The interaction of yin, the receptive feminine aspect of universal energy, and its counterpart yang, active and masculine, is of course a fundamental notion of Taoism. What is often overlooked is an essential third element, the middle void, where their interaction takes place. This can be compared with the yogic practice of pranayam. Breathe in, retain, breathe out. The suspension of breath is void where meditation occurs. The middle void is essential. Nothing can happen without it. Hence the importance of white unpainted space in Chinese landscape. So here students, here the word shan shui means literally means the mountain water, which used together to represent the word landscape here. So here in these lines and represented by the word mountain, it is the like you vertical, stable, warm and dry masculine aspect of universal energy here. And represented by the word water here means it is horizontal, fluid, moist and cool and feminine aspect of universal energy. And the third element is the middle void. It is the white unpainted space in the Chinese landscape, and it is here that the interaction take place. So students, there are like you can see that the three of the things or four of the things are there, that is feng shui, yang, yin. So both all the four things have different meanings. So feng shui here means the mountain water, and the word mountain. Yang, what is yang? Yang here is a mountain, word mountain, and it is written over here that which together used to represent the whole landscape, and all these two elements of an image represent the landscape. These represent two complementary poles, the reflecting Taoist view of universe. And by understanding these poles, we can understand the Taoist view of universe. That how he wants to look at the universe here. And the middle voice is essential. So I'll again explain you that the first one Sanshi, that literally means mountain water, which is used to together to represent the word landscape. The second one is represented by the that is yang. So yang here means mountain, and it is vertical, stable, warm and dry masculine aspect of universal energy, and represented by next is yin, that is represented by the word water. That water is horizontal, fluid, moist and cool, and this one is the feminine aspect. Though so the first one is like the landscape, the second one is the universal aspect, that is so mountains को यहाँ हमने masculine aspect दिया है, water को हमने यहाँ universal कहा है, and the third element, that is middle void, that is it is like white unpainted space in a Chinese landscape, and it is here that the interaction take place. And ये जो third चीज़ है, that is void, यहाँ पे interaction होता है. This is also where man finds a fundamental role in that space between heaven and earth, and he becomes the conduit of communication between both the poles of universe. His presence is essential even if it is only suggested, far from being lost or oppressed by lofty peaks. He is in Francois Chang's wonderful expression, the eye of the landscape. So here students, what was here in this paragraph, that on the basis of like you can say that this Chinese viewpoint of art completely different from the European one. So it is like the art form is explained here, that किस तरह जो दिस इज ऑल्सो वेयर मैन फाइंड्स अ फंडामेंटल रोल, किस तरह एक मैन को एक फंडामेंटल रोल मिलता है इन दैट स्पेस बिटवीन हेवन एंड अर्थ, जहाँ हेवन और अर्थ के बीच में है. ही बिकम्स द कॉन्डुइट ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन बिटवीन बोथ द पोल्स ऑफ यूनिवर्स. एंड किस तरह वो दोनों यूनिवर्स के दोनों पोल्स के बीच का एक मीडियम है. एंड his presence is essential, and why his presence is essential here, even if today, even if it's only suggested, अगर सिर्फ ये एक सजेशन है तो भी उनकी प्रेजेंस जो है वो कितनी इम्पॉर्टेंट है. far from being lost and oppressed by the lofty peaks. और इसके अलावा चाहे वो कितना भी ये लॉफ्टी जो पीक्स हैं इनसे कितना भी आतंकित हो या इनसे कितना भी खुद को खोने वाला हो, बट स्टिल दे आर देयर. एंड किस तरह फ्रैंकोइस टैंग जो हैं उन्होंने कुछ सरप्राइजिंग या वंडरफुल एक्सप्रेशंस दिए हैं. द आई ऑफ द लैंडस्केप, दैट मीन्स लैंडस्केप की आइज. सो स्टूडेंट विल कंटिन्यू द नेक्स्ट page of our chapter in our next video. Thank you. Till then, stay safe.